Coming up on AGWEEK TV, China falls short on its Phase 1 commitment. So what's next?
We'll tell you about a Minnesota company that's making it faster for farmers to get loaded up with fertilizer.
USDA appointments are being finalized in the region. And we'll take you to the Midwest Poultry Federation Convention to get an update on high-path avian influenza. Welcome to AGWEEK TV. I'm Michelle Rook. The agriculture industry dodged a supply chain bullet on both sides of the U.S.-Canadian border this week as Canadian Pacific Railway averted a strike. After a lockdown on Sunday night, the union agreed to binding arbitration and services were resumed on Tuesday. Josh Linville with StoneX says this was a huge win for both U.S. and Canadian farmers. A strike would have stopped movement of grain and fertilizer in the Northern Hemisphere just ahead of the spring planting season. He says that's a big deal, as Canada is the #1 supplier of potash in the world.
Yeah, if you look at them, they are about 40% of that global operating capacity. They are more than double what Russia is, and Russia's #2 in the world. So yeah, they are a very, very important player on the world potash market.
The agreement follows 6 months of contract negotiations. Linville says the fertilizer industry faces significant headwinds, though, with supplies and record high prices, which is amplified by Russia shutting down fertilizer exports amid the war. A southern Minnesota business is at the forefront of helping fertilizer dealers get nutrients to the farm faster. Jeff Beach joins us now to explain in this week's AGWEEK cover story.
Kaler Automation of Fairmont, Minnesota designs systems that do everything from blending fertilizer to sending out the bill.
Fertilizer happens in about 10 days, and you cannot have any hiccups, and in 10 days it's over with.
Dwight Christian of TDS Fertilizer says Kaler's automated system makes their job a lot easier. It takes the guesswork out of weighing and blending dry and liquid fertilizers, filling trucks and tanks, and even controlling inventory and billing for fertilizer.
It eliminates error. As far as push button and doing the automation, just takes care of itself, so it eliminates any error. If you want this certain analysis, this is what you get by poking it in out there.
Kaler CEO John Christ says being fully automated has a number of benefits for dealers and customers.
We control their systems, we control their processes, we keep track of their inventory, and we make them more efficient and more productive in servicing their customers.
You just click load and that'll start everything up.
Mitchell Mosier has been working with the system at TDS for a few years. He says not only is the automation more efficient, it makes for faster loading too.
It used to take us upwards of an hour per load. With all this, we can do 4 in an hour.
And Chris says remote self-service access allows customers to load at any hour of the day or night without the help of employees.
It's a fantastic feature for a customer. It allows them to fill at any hour, so someone can show up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it really helps our customer control throughput at a time when it's really busy for them. While fertilizer is its niche, Kaler is capable of other bulk material handling, and they're working on sensors for an automated fan system for preserving sugar beet piles.
Thanks, Jeff. And you can read more in the next AGWEEK magazine or at agweek.com. More cases of high pathogenic avian influenza have been reported in the region this week. Iowa confirmed the virus in a 5.1 million head commercial chicken broiler unit in Buena Vista County, the second in that county just this month. And on Tuesday, Nebraska also reported its first case in a commercial flock of 570,000 broilers in Butler County. The highly contagious virus is being spread by migratory birds, and the concern is that the outbreak is escalating before the migration gets into full swing. The last avian influenza outbreak was in 2015, and producers have learned a lot about controlling it since then. The highly contagious virus was a topic of discussion at the 51st Annual Midwest Poultry Federation Convention. Speaker Ken Kolkebeck is an extension specialist at the University of Illinois. He says producers must practice good biosecurity. He says a lot of steps have been implemented throughout the poultry industry to slow the virus down, but producers need to stay vigilant.
Limit your visitors, make sure that your equipment coming on the farm is clean. But there's feed trucks going from different farm to different farm. It's kind of hard to stop that.
The convention and trade show attracts poultry producers and others in the business from all over the U.S. and Canada. Disease continues to cut into the region's hog herds, leaving many open barns, especially in states like Minnesota and Iowa. Minnesota pork producer Dave Mensick says many operations have broke with disease within days of bringing in new pigs and had to depopulate. Those barns have been disinfected and are now setting open. Many producers are leery of restocking with record high isowean prices. High pig densities in some areas have led to more herd health issues like PRRS and PEDV.
We had one of our sow units break with PED, which we haven't heard much since 2014. We had a huge break in 2014, so there'll be no baby pigs out of that sow unit for probably 30 days.
Mensick says U.S. slaughter numbers are already running 5 to 6% under a year ago, and he thinks the smallest herd numbers are still yet to come. He says beyond disease, high feed costs are also curbing expansion plans. According to the most recent trade data, China fell short of its purchase obligations under the Phase 1 trade deal with the U.S. The U.S. Trade Representative's office says in all, China bought just 57% of the U.S. exports it committed to under the agreement. Officials say the relationship with China has grown increasingly more complex as the U.S. continues to push the Chinese to comply. So far, U.S. soybean farmers have been slow to condemn.
You know, we have so many issues that have been before us. I guess, going back to African swine fever, a pandemic that we've all been trying to deal with. So many factors.
Peterson says he's not sure the Biden administration should enforce the deal.
I'm thinking that we probably we're not able to do that. I think it's more a matter of just continuing to have a dialogue with the Chinese and try and work out some type of agreement with them.
However, he says there doesn't seem to be much interest from the administration to move to Phase 2. Up next on AgWeek TV, North Dakota's new FSA director makes history.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Growing up as a kid, Gateway was always the grain bin building and the grain handling people that were out in our area. One of the reasons we chose to go with Gateway was they're the leader in the industry and they are the #1 Brock dealer in the United States. We've really liked the Brock design and some of the designs that Gateway has come up with throughout the years. My best advice would be to just put your trust in them and let them come up with the design that's going to fit your needs.
The team at North Star Ag is committed to quality and committed to you. We're not just a full-service dealer, we're farmers too, so we know you need the best machinery and services that'll keep you going all season long. We have the largest equipment inventory in the upper Midwest with a well-equipped parts and service department. So whether you need machinery tomorrow or parts today, stop in and experience what North Star Ag can offer on our website at northstar-ag.com or give us a call at 701-361-4790.
Every season has an end. After spending your whole life building something, it can be hard to move on to your next stage in life. But when that time comes, you deserve to have someone you trust guide you through the process. And by trusting us to pass on your legacy, it gives someone else the chance to create their own. Every auction has a story. Let us share yours.
Since the inception of Vatterstadt, the spirit of innovation has led the company. We push the limits, providing innovative and reliable seeding and tillage solutions that simplify everyday life for farmers. We continue to reimagine the capabilities and technology behind farm machinery, providing customers with a perfect emergence while maximizing their yields. We look forward to growing together.
New Farm Service Agency state executive directors have finally all been named by the Biden administration in our region. Emily Beal is in now with more.
Marcy Swenningson will run the North Dakota office. She's a lifelong farmer and rancher. She served on the FSA board during the Obama administration and is the first female FSA director in North Dakota. She's a longtime ag advocate who's been involved in the Farmers Union, among other grassroots organizations. She says she's not concerned about being a Democrat in a majority Republican state and industry. She says she knows she can find common ground.
I'm here to be an advocate for all the producers in North Dakota, not just 30% of the producers. I want all of the producers in North Dakota to succeed. I want them to be able to access USDA programs.
In addition to ranching, she's also finance director for the Open Door Center, a Valley City nonprofit. In South Dakota, Steve Dick was appointed FSA Executive Director. He's a farmer and current Executive Director of Ag United for South Dakota. He previously worked for Senator Tom Daschle. At the end of January, Whitney Place was also named FSA Director for Minnesota. She served in various roles at the Minnesota Department of Ag, most recently as Assistant Commissioner.
Soybean farmers received in-depth information on increasing soybean yields at South Dakota Soybean Soy 100 in Brookings this week. Sessions looked at weather and how farmers can push soybean yields. Agronomist Ryan Wolf talked about some of the challenges, though, in achieving that, like herbicide shortages.
You're just going to be limited to choices and limited to access of what you need at the right time. So again, planning ahead is a big deal.
Producers also received a soybean price outlook from Naomi Bloom and some tips for protecting these historically high prices in 2022.
We talked about different ways that you can protect going forward, looking at protecting unpriced bushels with puts, looking at the timing of cash sales seasonally, when are your best opportunities.
Organizers say the goal is to help producers raise higher yields, but also find ways to overcome production challenges such as higher input prices.
Input costs are very, very high this year. So even though we are getting a better price for our crops, the revenue still is still concerning.
SDSU Extension also provided breakout sessions on soil health, planting green, and new products and research. The U.S. sugar industry enjoyed a year of record production in 2021, despite some weather challenges during the growing season. Growers may still worry about whether there will be adequate moisture this spring, but a far bigger concern is increasing production costs. The Director of Economics and Policy Analysis for the American Sugar Alliance spoke at the International Sugarbeet Institute in Grand Forks. Rob Johansson says although prices are strong, input costs keep rising. And that could get worse, as Russia and Belarus are big suppliers of fertilizer. Johansson says they've been making the case for growers to policymakers in Washington.
While prices may seem high or strong right now, those input costs are rising faster than producers are able to get a handle on, and that's really worrisome to them as they look to this coming planting season.
Over the next few months, sugar beet industry officials will also be advocating for the best farm bill for growers. Ahead on AgWeek TV, we'll tell you about a growing movement to raise poultry in a more natural environment.
We have products that no other companies have. That gives us a bit of an advantage and a bit of an edge, and it provides some security to our customer base that we've been here, we're here to stay, and we want to still provide these new innovations to the customers today. It's cold granulated products where we're putting together multiple nutrients. We've got products in our Micro Essentials lineup that contain sulfur and zinc, and we also have products on our potash side which contain boron, which is a newer product for us, which is called Aspire.
Spray Advantage is a full-line, full-service dealer with everything you need for fertilizer and chemical applications, like electronics from Microtrack and Raven, pumps by Banjo and John Blue, a full line of poly parts, tanks, and spray tips. We support the equipment we sell with factory-trained service technicians and a well-stocked parts department. It's our commitment to offer you quality products at competitive prices with the best financing options available. Spray Advantage, proudly serving North Dakota and Minnesota.
Trend Systems way. Good work, good pay, in a good life. Lets me live my way. Good work, good pay, in a good life. Trend Systems way. Good work, good pay, in a good life. Lets me live my way. systems way. Good work.
For over 130 years, Farmers Mutual of Nebraska has been providing protection from the unexpected. Farmers and ranchers choose Farmers Mutual insurance coverage for their industry experience, prompt claim service, and unmatched financial strength. Experience an insurance plan that's customized for your operation. Visit fmne.com to contact an agent for a quote today. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has the storage, conditioning, and handling equipment to fit any size operation with a wide variety of options and accessories, including our patented Blockbuster auger to help break up blockages over the center sump gate, and a full line of mixed flow grain dryers with even heating, excellent efficiency, and expandable capacities. Protect your investment and market your grain. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with Superior Grain Equipment.
Some small grains were already being seeded this week in the region, but how soon until the row crop planting can start? Here's John with our AgriWeather outlook.
The overall weather pattern right now as March begins to fade into April is looking relatively quiet around the country. But boy, March weather is tricky that way, and April weather can be too. It can quickly turn from something quiet into something quite active. We have experienced a cooling trend over the northern part of the U.S. in particular, whereas we had gotten some early spring weather where things had really warmed up nicely. Most of the snow in North Dakota and northern Minnesota is melted, or at least melted a lot of it away. And now it's cooling back down a bit. The stormy weather as we look at this pattern going forth will be in the mid-south and in the eastern part of the Corn Belt, which will probably be a little less stormy and just a little bit more rainy. I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a minute. Let's engage the pattern though first. The really cold weather, that's in retreat, and it's really probably about done for the season. I mean, it is nearly April. By frigid, I mean that weather where it's below zero all day. That's going to stay up in the Arctic. However, cold weather is something we'll have to watch for, and we may get a few days this week into parts of North Dakota and Minnesota, parts of the northern Great Lakes and New England, where it just stays below freezing all day. But really, most of the United States has gotten a bit warmer. Very meandering pattern right now with some troughiness, but for the moment, the jet stream overall is relatively weak. A fairly significant trough will move out, and this will generate a storm system over the eastern part of the country that'll bring severe weather south and rain north. And as we go through the week, I do expect a modest cooling trend again in through the Great Lakes and the northern tier. The northern Rockies still remaining relatively cold. That will begin to fade. Parts of Texas, Florida, and the desert southwest will be hot from time to time over the next couple of weeks. As we move this into the second week of the pattern, we will start to experience this troughiness beginning to kick out yet another storm system that may come a little bit further north into the Middle West. We'll keep an eye on that for certain, and that will be a possibility for a rain turning to snow system somewhere between the upper Midwest and the northern plains. Weather will remain relatively cool north, but we're going to have some pretty warm days getting up into the pleasant 60s and 70s throughout the central and eastern United States. This first week at the end of March, the early part of April, one storm system will bring mostly rain, thunderstorms to the mid-south, rain to the eastern part of the Corn Belt, likely one belt of rain changing to snow, with, I'll mention, some lighter snows up into the Dakotas and Minnesota. I don't expect this to be a big storm system. There will be some snows along the spine of the Rockies. Southwest looks dry. Moving forward into full-on April, it's looking relatively dry. This doesn't mean no rain. It just means probably not heavy rain. There will be some in the eastern part of the country. That snowy pattern will likely continue in the Rocky Mountain states. And again, for the northern plains, upper Midwest area, blank in this kind of an outlook doesn't mean nothing. It just means nothing that I can see that looks like a big signature to hang a big precipitation factor on.
Every season has an end. After spending your whole life building something, it can be hard to move on to your next stage in life. But when that time comes, you deserve to have someone you trust guide you through the process. And by trusting us to pass on your legacy, it gives someone else the chance to create their own. Every auction has a story. Let us share yours.
When the water's high and your yields are low, 'cause your fields have no place for water to flow. Just one call takes care of it all. Call on Field Drainage Incorporated.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has the storage, conditioning, and handling equipment to fit any size operation with a wide variety of options and accessories, including our patented Blockbuster auger to help break up blockages over the center sump gate, and a full line of mixed flow grain dryers with even heating, excellent efficiency, and expandable capacities. Protect your investment and market your grain. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with Superior Grain Equipment.
Is your crop insurance working for you? Are you using your crop insurance to help market your production? There have been a lot of improvements to crop insurance to help maximize guarantees. To see what crop insurance can really do for you, call the professionals at Martinson Ag. Each of our insurance specialists have over 25 years of individual experience in the crop insurance industry, both on the company level and the producer level. Martinson Ag, they know risk management.
Go beyond the headlines with an AGWEEK membership. Get in-depth agribusiness reporting, original farm and ranch stories, and fact-based research for the most comprehensive ag news in the upper Midwest. Experienced ag journalists bring you exclusive ag news, insights, and policy updates you won't find anywhere else. Become a member today and get unlimited access to AGWEEK and AGWEEK TV.
With continuing drought in some areas, water quality can be a deadly issue for livestock. The snow runoff that would usually provide fresh water is in short supply for some, leaving higher concentrations of toxins like sulfates, according to NDSU livestock specialist Miranda Meehan. Meehan says about 20% of samples taken in North Dakota last year came back with toxins, so she says it's important to test the water before putting animals out on pasture. Meehan says the tests are inexpensive and easy to use and can save lives.
We've seen a lot of issues with sulfate, some sulfate toxicities, animals going blind, bovine polio, and some deaths to animals because of those sulfate levels.
Meehan advises producers to look for a dependable alternative clean water source. There are a number of programs that can provide financial help. A Minnesota farm family has seen an increase in the direct marketing of its beef to the point of having a waiting list. Patricia and Matthew Erickson have a 400-head Angus cow-calf operation, calving in the spring and fall, and also a feedlot. They grow corn, soybeans, and alfalfa with the help of Matthew's father and their 3 children. They direct market some of their beef, and the Ericksons say demand for it increased sharply during the pandemic. The Ericksons say they enjoy working with their 3 children.
I just enjoy having the family to work with and the kids around and having the livestock to take care of.
I kind of grew up in the dairy barn, so I always said I'd rather be in the barn than in the house.
The Ericksons were named the Polk County Farm Family of the Year in 2021 by the University of Minnesota. People interested in a new poultry system gathered recently to talk about how to expand their vision. The Regenerative Agriculture Alliance hopes to transform the local food system. It's developing a coalition of farms using the tree range system of raising chickens. 11 farms in the upper Midwest are now using the system, which allows chickens to be raised in their original natural wooded habitat. Many more farms are expected to join the movement, and the Regenerative Ag Alliance's first poultry processing facility is now operating in Stacyville, Iowa. Farmers, investors, processors, and lawmakers met to share information about expanding their vision.
We're at a place where we really need to come together and talk about what the next phase is. So that's what we're doing. Yesterday we focused on farmer training, talked about the framework and the lens in which we see this movement happening. We also got to hear from some of the farmers that have been deploying regenerative poultry systems.
The group also unveiled plans to develop new regenerative ag regions around the country. Still ahead, a look at the days set aside to honor ag.
Auctionblock.com. First with online equipment auctions in 1999. First in worldwide registered users. Auctionblock.com. Online farm, construction, and transportation equipment auctions every Wednesday. Sell with the leader. Call Auction Block today, 218-483-7880, or visit us online at auctionblock.com.
At Advanced Grain Handling Systems, we're your full-service grain dryer and bin project partner. We'll handle everything from start to finish.
These guys are all in one. That was one of the big draws. They were the general. They took care of the electrical. They took care of the cement, took care of everything.
Whether your next project is big or small, let our team help with it all. Visit advancedgrainhandling.com.
Hamilton System Inc. in Drayton, North Dakota is the North American distributor of the Fantini corn and sunflower header. Both the L03 corn head and the G03 sunflower head have a simple, high-efficiency, low-maintenance PTO-driven gearbox, which eliminates slippage and power loss even in the most trying conditions. These heads are built with a solid one-piece frame and tubular steel construction that will withstand the harshest field conditions. Available in models from 4 to 18 rows, they adapt to any combine and come with a 4-year warranty on the transmission units.
Don't miss out on the equipment you'll need next season. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer, has early order discounts on its full line of powerful, efficient, new Case IH equipment, including tractors, combines, and self-propelled sprayers. Get a great deal and ensure that you have the latest in productivity and technology. Supply chains are tight. Contact your Titan Machinery dealership today and find out how much you can save by ordering ahead. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH equipment experts.
We're going to talk today about a revolutionary auto steer product that you guys have developed.
We back one of these things in, it'll drain a 40-acre patch just within hours.
What can you tell us about what dairy farmers do to make sure that their animals are happy?
Their care is our primary concern.
Is there still time for producers to get storage bins up?
Absolutely. We still can definitely get something up and ready for corn harvest.
It's National Ag Week, and a time we celebrate the impact agriculture makes on our economy. We also thank farmers and their families for their tireless efforts to provide food, fiber, and fuel. Due to the efficiency of U.S. farmers, consumers still have the most reliable and affordable food supply in the world.
Food's a partnership. Farmers are aware and are working to make sure that they supply a plentiful and safe product.
Agriculture is also the #1 industry in the nation and in our region, and it drives the entire economy. Stories you'll only see on AGWEEK.com and AGWEEK magazine this week. Strip-till systems are gaining popularity with Sugarbeet farmers looking to conserve moisture and protect soil. And Machinery Pete talks about starting his company 30 years ago in his Minnesota basement and the current state of farm machinery. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgWeek TV. Remember, for all your ag news, you can go to agweek.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have yourself a great and safe week.